Morning. In this session, you are going to know about the robot framework. In the previous session, you discussed about some of the concepts related to the Python and then Selenium. Here, you are going to know about the robot framework. What is a robot framework? How can you do the some task in robot framework? Before knowing about the robot framework, what is a framework? Framework is a collection of functions that can use to achieve some particular task. Framework, that means you have a that means the framework is a collection of functions. By using that particular framework, you can performing most of the complex tasks easily. For that purpose, you creating the framework. In Python programming, you have a different frameworks available. One is a Django. For performing web-based applications, you will use a Django framework. And then for performing some server-side scripting programming, you will use a Flask. For performing some testing operations, for example, for performing UI testing as well as the web-based testing by using robot framework. Here, you will performing the web-based testing by using Selenium library. With the help of Selenium library, you can perform in the web-based application. This is called robot framework. What is exactly robot framework? Just like a Python, robot framework is a open source. Open source, that means you can easily download software from the robot framework. I can tell you that means you can get the robot. This is an official website for the robot framework. You can easily download the software from the robot framework. Here the robot framework is a open source test automation framework for acceptance testing and then acceptance test driven development. For performing this task here, is this is a one of the framework. That means it's having the key driven, data driven for writing the test cases. And then some of the robot framework related concept. Here the robot framework provides a support for external libraries tools which are open source and can be used for automation. You have a so many libraries are there. That means you will be having the already you discussed some of the libraries related to the robot framework, like for example, you have a different libraries in a robot framework. One is a built-in library, collection library, operating system library, string library, selenium library. Like that, you have a different libraries available. This particular thing here, most popular library is a selenium library. This particular selenium library used to performing the web-based applications, for testing the web-based application as well as for testing the UI testing. That means in this case you have a different softwares available. The required software for the robot framework, I can show you the different softwares. Yeah, these are all the environment setup for robot framework. After that, you will discuss these concepts. For example, first initially install the Python. That means how can you install the Python? You know very well about the Python. You will go to the python.org. You have to download python.org. Download the Python. I think I'm having the that means latest version. Open, go for the latest version and then download the software. Like that, you have to download some other softwares here. You required a Pycharm also. You required. You have to download the Pycharm. How can you download the Pycharm? Here, go to Pycharm. Pycharm download. From there you can down from this is a official website, jetbrains.com. From the jetbrains.com you can download the after downloading I can tell you how to install the Pycharm. Okay. Okay, that means you have a different professional version is there, community version is there. Go for the community version. Where professional version is a, it is helpful for scientific and web Python development with HTML. But here it's providing the free trial for the 30 days. After that, it's going to expire. That means you have to pay some money. For community version is a free, built-in open source. That's why download this software, free software. Download this one. The download should start shortly. That means it does not please direct in or download here. It can download already. It is downloading. Yes, it takes some time. Before that, you will discuss some of the concepts related to that. That means after that, you have to install the Selenium and then robot framework. That means these are all are the packages. And then robot framework, Selenium library. After installing the Pycharm, I can tell you how can you install this library. Okay, it takes some times. Before that, you will discuss some concepts related to the robot framework. Yeah, in this already I told you. That means in this case I'm going to explaining about the some of the concepts related to the robot framework. Initially, introduction about the robot framework. Here, what are the robot framework? How can you write the program in robot framework, like that? After that, you will discuss about the variables. What is a variable? Here in robot framework, you have a three different variables. You have one is a scalar variable, other one is a list variable, other one is a dictionary variable. It is a totally different from the other programming languages. Here, for example, I'm going to go for the scalar variables. Like a, for example, how can you declare the scalar variables? See here, the variables are declared like this. In Python programming, how can you declare the variables? For example, you are declaring the variables like this: a is equal to some 10, like this. But here in this robot framework, you are declaring the variable. The syntax for declaring the variables, like a dollar symbol, and then flower bracket. In the flower bracket, you are writing some variable name. For example, a is a variable. Here you are assigning after two spaces. After two spaces, you are assigning some value for a 23. That means this indicates the a will takes the value 23. Otherwise, you are creating the variables like this. After two spaces, you are giving the value like this, equal to, or after two spaces also, both are similar in the robot framework. Here, this is a way creating the variables, scalar variables in a robot framework. After that, you will discuss some of the concepts related to the list variables. I think in you familiar with the Java. I think very well know about the Java or Python programming. The list is used to storing the for example, this is a list variable. What is a list? List will store the multiple values at a time. The single variable will store the multiple values. Here, this particular list variables are declared by using at the rate symbol. At the rate flower bracket. That means the scalar variables. How can you declare the scalar variables? You will discuss later about the each and every point. Okay, each and every point you will discuss. These are all scalar variables. Like that, you will declare the dictionary variables in a some other way. That is the first concepts related to the robot framework. And then coming to the second concept, some conditional statement. How can you create the if statement? Just like all programming languages have the conditional statement, like that you will have in the robot framework, you have the simple if statement, and then if else statement, some of the logical operations and membership function. In robot framework, there is no directly not having the if else statements. See here, for example, see uh, something here. For example, directly not having the uh, 1 minute. Ah, yes, see the these are all are some conditions. What is the, if you want to, that means in robot framework you cannot create the if block. You have some way is there, run if, like that you can create the if block. That means there is no direct if block for in a robot framework. Like that, you will be developing a some of the conditional statement based on, you will write some programs based on a conditional statement. Like in the third concept, you will discuss about the control statement. How can you create the first statement, and then how can you create the simple loop statement? What is the way for creating the simple loop statement? Like that, you can create the some information related to the loop. After that, in the fourth concept, you will discuss of the keywords. This is a separate way creating the keywords. The keyword in the sense, just like in Python programming, you are creating the modules. Like that, you will create the keywords in a robot framework. That is a way for creating the keywords. And then that means you will discuss later about the official information. What is a keyword? Keyword is a block of code, just like a module, or just like a function. Here it is a block of code. Keyword contains arguments as well as the documentation and a return statement. You can create user defined keywords. That means in under the keyword section. You will discuss later about the one by one. The next concept related to the resource file. That means how can you, that means resource file in the sense is sometimes you required, you are calling one file to another file. Like a resource file is a robot file that does not contain some test cases. Like a we were creating one module in a one module, you will call that particular module in a, another module. Like that, you will have the resource file in a robot framework. That means resource file in the sense simply a module, you can call the another module. And then library file. What is a library file? In robot framework, sometimes in the robot framework you require Python programming, the Python file. You will call the Python file by using library. By using this particular library function, you will call the Python programming. That's say, for example, see here, library is a Python file which contains set of instruction. By using library keyword, you can import the library file. If you required, that means there is a requirement is there in robot programming, there is a requirement calling the library. And then some variable files are there. And then very important concepts related to the setup and tear down. What is a setup, what is a tear down? Sometimes that means before executing any program, uh, free conditions. Some, for example, before running the program, you are using some precondition. That precondition you call it as a setup. And then tear down in the sense post condition. Like a, for example, if you before performing any experiment, you have a preconditions are there, post conditions are there. Those are all are the pre and post conditions. And then finally, you will know about the tags. The basic requirement here, tag. For example, what is the necessity of tag in the sense? If you want to run the collection of test cases at a time, for that one, you will create the tags. Tag in the sense, it is a rename, alias name to the test cases. Like you can create a categories of test cases. You can run the category of test cases by using these particular tags. And then you will know some standard libraries. You have a different libraries. You have some built-in libraries, collection libraries, operating system libraries, and then selenium. Among these libraries, selenium library is a very important one. By using selenium library, you are performing the web-based testing. That means you will perform the testing on website. That means you will know more about the selenium library, and then you will discuss something related to the project. Okay, this is a entire structure of a robot framework. That means in project you will know more about this one. For perform for completion of this entire course, you required 20 hours of time. Within 20 hours of time, you will complete the robot framework structure, and then verify whether uh, yes, Python is downloaded. I'm going to installing the Python. Okay, no need to worry about this one. Double click on this one, click on yes, it is a install Python. Before installing the Python, very important thing here, add here, click on this one, add python.exe to the path. If you add this one, automatically add path to uh, our Python. That means if not there, you have to go to environment variable, and then you have to set up the path. In order to set up the path, you will click on here, add python.exe to the path, automatically add path to the entire thing, and then install now. Click on install now. It is installing like this. I think it takes some time for installing. No problem. It is that means within the time it will complete. Okay. Installing. Okay, it is installing. It takes at least 2 minutes of time. Uh, for installation, you have a process also there. I can share the that particular Python installation process. Yeah, I can share this particular Python installation process. You have a Python installation document also available for me. Yeah, steps to set up the Python. Yes, it takes some time. Before installing, you can install the Python. These are all the steps. Before that, I created the Python old days, like create a executes. Okay, not having the Python. Okay, no need to worry about this one. It takes some time. Okay, it's going to completing. After completion of the installation of Python, you go for the installation of Pycharm. These are all very important steps. Why? Because if you go to the installation process, you have to install the first thing. Here you are going to completing the installation of the. You are going to completing the installation. Now you are going to completing the installation. Yes, it's completed. The installation of Python completed. Next, you move for the yes. The new start online tutorial. No need to. Okay, close. The installation of Python is closed. If you want to know whether Python installed or not, yeah, go to CMD. Here you will type the version Python hyphen version. Then it will display the current version of the Python. Yes, you install the Python successfully. Then for example, if you want to do some Python operations, or if you want to write some Python programming, you will go to the IDLE. Based on the IDLE, you can write some Python programming. uh, yes, yes, for example, verify that one. A equal to, for example, 10, for example, B equal to 20, like a, and then C equal to A plus B. Yes, print C. Yes, it is executed successfully. Yes, Python installed successfully in our system. Yes, completed. Next task here is a, you have to install the Pycharm. That means before that, whether Pycharm downloaded or not, very you have to verify whether Pycharm downloaded or not. Yes, just now Pycharm downloaded. Yes, now you will install the Pycharm. Yes, I'm going to installing the Pycharm. Click on the Pycharm, double click on the Pycharm. That means you downloaded the latest version and then community version. uh, for practicing purpose, better to, it is a better download the community version. Yes, next, no need to worry about this installation of Pycharm. Next, that means it is asking about the destination folder where you are storing this one. Next, that means you have to click the Pycharm community edition if required, add open folder project, and then you required .py path, and then add folder to the path. Everything is okay. Now, next, install. For installation also takes some time, the Pycharm installation. If you want to go more about that one installation, it takes some time. Before that one, you have to know some of the concepts related to the Pycharm. Already you discussed the robot framework. What is the robot framework? Robot framework provides a support for the external libraries and then tools. And then it is a most popular library in a robot framework for performing the web-based application or web-based testing. You will use the Selenium library. We are based on that library. Some of the features of robot framework. What are the features of robot? For example, if you go to the here and then write a features of robot framework, then it will display some uh, robot framework features. You will go to the any one link. That means what are the features of robot framework? For example, you go for any one website, robot.org. You have a some features are there. Like that means robot framework having the setup as well as the tear down. The first feature for the robot framework is a setup. Setup means here a setup is a nothing but a executed before the test cases. You will write something that means already you discussed that one free condition. This setup indicates the free condition. Before any test cases you will write setup. Before collection of test cases, in the sense uh, the collection of test cases set up suit. The collection of test cases you call it as a suit. Before suit you will write the setup. Before test cases you will write the setup. And then setup is nothing but a executed. That means this particular task is executed before the test cases to do required setup for the test case execution. For example, sometimes you are working on the file, start the process, create the connection. These are all are the some of the concepts. And then what about the tear down here? Tear down is a post condition. Already you discussed the word tear down is post condition. What is a post condition? Execute after executing the any test cases. That means we have a one test case is there. Like I can tell you simple information related to this one. For example, you have a one test case is there. Let us assume this is a test case. Test this is a test case. Let us assume before test cases, if you want to execute some statements, you will use a setup. After the after test case, after completion of test case, if you want to execute some statements, that is called here tear down. I think before execution of any test cases, if you want to execute some statements, that is called here setup. After that you will having, after executing any test case, if you want to require some information, then you will use the this information. That is a setup and tear down. Like a setup and tear down, you have a suit setup and suit tear down. First you have to know about the suit. Suit in the sense collection of test cases. For example, sometimes you have to write the not a single test cases. You are writing a collection of test cases. For example, you have a test case 1, test case 2, test case 3. Each and every test case you will use a setup and tear down. For entire suit, the collection of test cases is called as a suit. Before executing any suit, you will use a suit setup. Suit setup. After executing all test cases, if you want to execute some statement, then you will use a shoot tear down. That is a required information. That is a future. One of the best future of robot framework is a shoot setup and then shoot tear down. Very important feature. That means the shoot in the sense collection of test cases. Before executing the all test cases, you will use the this information. Another important feature, already you discussed tags. What is a tag? Tag is a alias name to the test cases. For example, you are giving some other name. For example, TC1. If you write one test case, instead of TC1, you can use a small name, alias name, to categorize the test cases. Sometimes you want to execute only sanity test cases. Sometimes you want to execute the all regression test cases. Sometimes you want to the collection of smoke test cases. Then you will apply the tags. Tag is a rename. Another feature here is a fourth feature, documentation. In robot framework, you will use the documentation. For example, if you want to know more about the particular test cases, you will apply the documentation. It is a to set a free documentation for the test case. That is a simple documentation, one of the feature. Another feature is a tabular format for test cases. Here, this particular tabular form, where you are identifying the tabular format here, ride in ride, that means you are using the Pycharm, no need to have the tabular format. If you use the ride, in the ride cases, you will apply the tabular format of test cases. And then another feature here is a keyword. You will defining the keywords. That means keyword in the sense, in robot framework, each and every sentence you call it as a keyword. You have a different keyword, just like a function in a Python. This is a keyword. You have a different keywords available. Open browser keyword, already predefined keywords. The robot framework itself defines some of the keywords. You will use these keywords. Open a browser, any browser you can use open browser keyword. Another keyword is a close browser keyword, like a maximize the window. Another keyword like that, you have a different keywords are there. Like a free defined keywords, you have a user defined keyword availables. You have a user, that means user can create a own keywords. I can tell you how can you create the own keyword. This is a one of the future of the robot framework. Like that, another features here, variables are there. Already just now you discussed, we have like a scalar variables, list variables, a dictionary variables. That means scalar variables represented by using dollar symbol, list variables represented by using at the rate symbol, the dictionary variables represented by using ampersand symbol. Here these are the different symbols. Like you have a libraries are there. Okay, like another feature is a library. You have a different libraries, and then resources is a another feature. These are all different features of a robot framework. Very important one, robot framework. If you know more about the robot framework feature, you can easily identify the that means in the robot framework, a very important feature here is a you will generating the reports as well as the logs. That means report in the sense, you will get the all detailed information, as well as the you will get the whether it is failed or successful related information by using logs. Very important one, verify this one. Yes, you completed the robot framework. That means robot now are finished. I want to, yes, the Python is installed successfully. That means you install the Python, and then this information. Yes, IDEs. What are the different IDE available for writing the robot framework programs? For writing the robot framework programs, you have a different libraries available. One is a Eclipse. By using Eclipse, you can write the program. For example, it is a very easy to navigate all files project inside. Another one is a RIDE. Just now you discussed it. You will write the programs in a tabular format. It is a fine to run script in a single or multiple. It is difficult to write the RPA code, robot framework code. It's a very difficult robot framework automation code. And then one very important one is a RF. This is a Pycharm plus RF. Already install the Pycharm, verify the whether installed or not. Yes, this is a latest version, community version for the Pycharm. You just now install. Not only that one IDE, another IDE is by using Visual Studio Code. That means um, that means Microsoft Visual Studio Code. By using this code also, you can write the programs. Yes, I confirm. That means it is asking don't send anything, or you can, if you want to know the statistics for that one, you can get it. These are the different IDs for writing the robot framework. Next thing here, you have to install these things. Yes. Okay, whether if you open the Pycharm, I can tell you. Next, I am going to creating one project. If you will give any name for this project, I am giving the name like a Python project. Same name I am using. No need to change the my name. Otherwise, you can use latest name anything. For example, Rama, Krishna, anything you can give. I am using same project Python or robot framework. You can use create. Yes, created. That means the environment appears like this. For example, it is a Python project. Okay, it takes some time, no problem. This is a way represent the Python. That means after that you have to install the Selenium robot framework, Selenium library. That means these are the requirement. These are the requirement for the creation of. Yes, it is creating. The environment is not good. You can change the environment also. Go to settings. I am going to change the environment lighting mode. You can use IntelliJ light mode. You can apply. Now you can clearly, if you want to change the size of the this one also, you can change it. Yeah, font size you can go to editor, font size. I want to increase the size of the font. 13 is there. If you required, I can give 16 or 18. Apply and then okay. Font size. Now you, the next thing here, you have to add these libraries. How can you add these libraries here? I want to first, initially I want to add the Selenium library. If you want to add the Selenium library, go to settings, click on settings, and then under the project, you are having the one project here. Under the project you have a Python interpreter is there. Click on Python interpreter. Click on Python interpreter. I am going to creating plus symbol. Now search for the libraries. Selenium. Search for the libraries. Yes, yes, you have a Selenium library is there. Click on this one. Install package. Install package. Yes, it is sometimes for installation purpose. Yes, after installing that one, you have to install the robot framework library. It is taking much more time. Not more than 1 minute. It takes within 1 minute. It's going to installing Selenium. The first initially, I'm installing the Selenium library. You have a so many different libraries available here. So many different libraries available. Among those libraries, you can create. Okay, it takes some time. If it is installed, here you will get the message like installation of Selenium library installed successfully. Like that, you will get the some message. Yes, before that it takes some time. Okay, okay. Next, you have to install the robot framework. Before that, you will verify the sections in your robot framework. For writing the program, you have a 4 different sections in a. That means you are having just like a C programming having the different sections. Main section like a. Here also having the different section. See here. See, Selenium installed successfully. Selenium installed successfully. Next thing, you have to install the robot frame. Verify this one. Robot framework. You have to install the this part also completed successfully. This part also completed successfully. Now you will go for the install robot framework. That means these are all requirement libraries. Okay, robot framework. Robot framework. Yes, this is a robot framework. Now install robot framework also. It also takes a some time. Okay, before that one, you have to know some of the sections in a robot. Very important task for writing any program. That means this is a introduction concepts. What is a, that means you have a four different sections available in a robot framework. One is a setting section. Okay. Another one is a variable section. Other one is a keyword, and then test case section. Like that, you have a three test cases are there. Next one, next installation. That means it's completed. This one. Next one, robot framework Selenium library. You have to install that one. Robot framework Selenium library. Okay, before that one, robot framework. I think robot framework. I think hyphen Selenium library. I think Selenium. Yes, a robot framework Selenium library. Selenium, not a Selenium 2. Selenium 2 is a old version. Install the Selenium library. Robot framework Selenium library. Going to installing this library, and then you have to install the this one also. Okay, you have to place some plugins. After installing the robot framework Selenium library, you will installing some plugins here. Yes, it also installed successfully. That means in our project all things are done properly. That means you have installed the all packages for the program. Now you are going to create in the program. Okay, today's class is up to this. Okay, the next you will discuss about the what are the sections in a robot framework. The next class you will discuss what are the sections, and then how can you install the plugin, how can you, that means IntelliJ robot plugin, like that. Okay.